First and foremost, a huge thanks and shout out to Brian Mohr of Mohr's Motor Cars in Spencer, Indiana for his hospitality and allowing me to film this really nice 2011 Volvo C30. The shape of the Volvo C30 first came in the form of a concept car called the SCC, or Safety Concept Car, at the 2001 North American International Auto Show in Detroit, Michigan. Showcasing a host of upcoming advanced safety features such as forward collision warning, blind spot monitoring, lane departure warning, and adaptive cruise control. Aside from these, it was the shape of the car, a modern interpretation of the classic Volvo P1800ES. The small three-door hatch was a sign of things to come in the future, featuring a unique all-glass rear hatch, floating center stack, and overall design elements from the concept that made it into production. Fast forward to 2006 at the Paris Motor Show, when showgoers were treated to the final version of the C30, and it had a familiar look to it. Based on the S40 cars, the C30 sits on Volvo's P1 platform, and it's also shared with the S40, V50, and C70 cars. Production of the car ran from 2006 to 2013 under a single generation, with the mid-cycle facelift occurring in 2010. In North America, sales started in October of 2007 for the 2008 model year, with only the 2.5 T5 engine as the sole available engine. Despite being an entry-level Volvo, the cars were still Volvo and as a result were exceptionally well built, and featured nicer than average interior materials and equipment, as well as safety features. In 2011, only two trims were available, the T5 and R Design. Our T5 was built at the Volvo Car Hint manufacturing facility in Belgium in March of 2011. Hey everyone, in today's latest episode of the in-depth review series, we are taking a look at this very nice and very well equipped 2011 Volvo C30. Now this C30 is just the base T5 coupe. It's not the R Design, but it is very, very well equipped, and we'll go over all that. Today's Volvo is painted in Barents Blue Metallic, and it features the off-black and calcite leather interior. It is not the T-Tech, but it actually is the optional leather upholstery. I do have full pricing on screen, and the full options list is in the description box below, so make sure you go ahead and check that out. This car has a lot of options on it. Today's review is going to be a full in-depth review. We're going to cover everything from the exterior to the interior, powertrain, fuel economy, performance, and everything else in between. I've always loved the C30. I almost had the option to review a 2008 C30, but that fell through. The C30 is front-wheel drive, and the power comes from the T5 2.5-liter dual overhead cam 20-valve turbocharged inline 5-cylinder engine. This engine is of aluminum block and head construction and features port fuel injection, a single turbocharger with dual charge air intercoolers, variable valve timing, and a 9:1 compression ratio. This engine creates 227 horsepower at 5,000 RPM and 236 pound-feet of torque at an impressive 1,500 RPM. Car and Driver magazine tested their C30 T5 from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 6.7 seconds. 0 to 100 miles per hour came in at 16.9 seconds, with the quarter mile hitting in at 15.3 seconds at 93 miles per hour. The top speed on this car is limited to 134 miles per hour. The C30 comes equipped with a remote locking fuel door and features a 15.9 US gallon fuel capacity, and it consumes 4.5 gallons per 100 miles driven, with an estimated total driving range of around 350 miles. EPA fuel economy figures are 19 miles per gallon in the city, 27 miles per gallon on the highway, and a combined average of 22 miles per gallon. While a 5-speed manual gearbox is standard equipment, our car actually comes equipped with the $1,250 optional Geartronic 5-speed automatic transmission. This transmission features manual shift capabilities and a 2.27 to 1 final drive axle ratio. Now, as we walk along the rear, of course, as I do in all of my videos, we're going to cover the rear in depth, but just take a look at it. This is probably why I love the C30 so much, is that rear glass hatch. Alrighty, around the rear of the C30 is probably my favorite view of the car, and that's because of the design element of the rear lift gate. It is just a piece of glass, very much like the concept car that was shown at the Detroit Auto Show, and that actually carried over to production. So the entire liftgate itself is the rear window, and it has the black border around it, and of course you got the Volvo huge rear wiper back here, and then of course we have the C30 trim, or the C30 designation, and the T5, and then of course the tail lights, all incandescent back here. But we do have the upper portions very Volvo-like. They come all the way down into these more bulbous looking tail lamps that do house the reverse lights, the brake lights, and the turn indicators. And one of the coolest views on a Volvo is that wide shoulder that comes down from the panels down the side flank and into the wheel arches. Of course, down below we do have dual exhaust tips. Just overall a very cool looking little car, I think. Alright, now as we walk along the profile of the car, on screen I do have the exterior dimensions, so you can kind of see the size of this car. It's relatively small, but due to the design, it's actually very, very roomy inside. Steering on the car is the electro-hydraulically assisted variable rate vehicle speed sensitive rack and pinion with 2.6 turns lock to lock and a 15.4 to 1 overall steering ratio with a 38.1 foot turning radius. Wheels on this car are the standard bright silver painted 17 by 7 inch Spartacus multi-spoke shod and 205/50 R17 Goodyear Assurance all-season tires. Brakes on the car are power-assisted 4-wheel disc brakes assisted by ABS and traction control and feature ventilated 11.8 inch rotors up front with solid 11 inch rotors in the rear. Brakes on this car can halt the C30 from 70 miles per hour to 0 in 187 feet. Alright, now as we walk along the front of the car, it looks more along the traditional Volvo family. Of course, we'll cover the front end styling in depth, but very, very nice, very clean, just very traditional Volvo. Looks very classy even to this day. Alrighty, around the front, it looks more traditional Volvo up front. Now, the rear end styling is a lot more creative, a lot more distinctive, but up front, we just look like a Volvo, and there's nothing wrong with that because Volvos actually look really good. We do have the body color fold-away mirrors, do have the turn repeaters in the side of the mirror glass, sculpted aluminum for the hood and the fenders, come down to these really cool looking headlights. Now this car actually has the optional active bending xenon high intensity discharge headlamps, turn indicators, high beams over here. Down below we do have fog lamps. We've also got headlamp washers. Coming front to the Volvo grille. Now the Volvo logo has worn off a little bit, but you still know exactly what you're looking at here. Front license plate mount. Alright, now before we get inside, let's take a quick look at the key fob. It's a very unique key. It is a Volvo key. It looks like a smart key, but it's actually really not. It does have the Volvo logo back here. Has a weird looking blade up here. It's all plastic. That does have a transmitter inside it, and we'll kind of go over that. And on the key face, you do have the traditional key fob buttons, lock, unlock, exterior illumination. You've also got the trunk release and panic. Now this car does not actually have smart key access, but the key head works traditional. Now to unlock the doors, you have to actually unlock the actual metal bladed key, but to unlock the car, you have to actually use the transponder. Car's already unlocked, so we're going to go ahead and open the door and take a look inside. And there's the interior of it. Even though this was an entry-level Volvo, it is very much still a Volvo in its amenities, comfort, and quality. Now taking a look at the door panel here, This does have Volvo's side impact protection system, or SIPS. It is mounted in the door. They've also put it here in the body itself. But just taking a look at the door panel, as you can see, all the off-black material. It is a kind of a soft touch vinyl. You do have this scuba style stuff here. It does have the aluminum trim inside, power windows, power mirrors, power door locks, satin aluminum trim. You got some storage in the doors, bottle holder, speakers, that kind of stuff. Now over here on the driver's side instrument panel, headlamp switch, and it is equipped with the active bending headlight. That is what this mode is here. And then of course we've also got instrument panel brightness and dim, front and rear fog lamps, and fuel door release. Moving down, there is a adjustable lever here for the tilt and telescoping steering wheel. OBD2 port there. There is a red lever back here for the hood release. And this vehicle is equipped with an automatic transmission, so just 2 pedals in the footwells. In addition, due to the premiumness of the seats, we've also got power driver and passenger seats. They are 8-way power adjustable. They've got 3 position memories here on both seats. And let's go ahead and take a quick look at those seats. They are the 2-tone off black and calcite leather. They are also heated. They do feature height adjustable head restraints. They've also got lumbar support, perforations on the insides of the seat panels. You've also got accent stitching. This button here, and we'll go over this here in just a few moments, but this button here actually goes moves the seat fore and aft when you release the seat, so you can ease of entry to the rear seats. In addition, this vehicle is also equipped with the optional sunroof, which is a really nice touch. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the interior. Alrighty, now that we're inside, let's show more details. There's a lot to show in this car, but it's not too terribly overwhelming. We do have a nice tilt and telescopic steering wheel. It is leather wrapped. It is a 3-spoke design. Traditional 3-spoke design Volvo steering wheel for the time. It does have the Volvo logo here in the center. A pretty much seamless airbag cover, which is really nice. Now this car does feature the cruise control. It was optional to begin with when the car first came out, but as it progressed through the model years, it later became standard. So it's just a simple cruise control, on off. You got your set, accelerate, resume, all that kind of stuff, and coast. And over here we do have the phone controls, audio controls, and all that kind of stuff. Taking a look at the multi-function stalks here, we do have our turn signal, our high beam, and our flash to pass, all that kind of stuff. And this also features the trip computer controls. And by twisting the info thumb wheel and pressing the reset button, you can actually cycle through menus and reset the menus. Those actually are prominently displayed here in the center of the gauge cluster, and we'll cycle through those menus and kind of show you. It's pretty basic, but for the time, it showed all the information that you could ever want. Over here on the right hand side, we do have the wiper washer control stalk, and it does feature the variable intermittent. You can also wash the front and rear wiper by pressing or pulling the stalk. And of course you can turn the wipers on and off by flipping through the stalk itself. And then on the end we also have the wiper controller. Taking a look at the gauge cluster, it's pretty simple but very easy to read. We have a 160 mile per hour speedometer with an integral fuel tank, 8,000 RPM tach with a coolant temperature gauge. Up there, we just showed you, it has the trip computer, also has the time and the temperature. Down below, you have your gear position indicator, the miles, and at the time of the recording, this car has 114,985 miles. And of course, you have your Trip A and Trip B computers down there. All right, moving over the top of the dash, as you can see here, it is a nice soft touch material. It has an interesting grain to it. It is a 2-piece with a the actual windshield mount here. Kind of looks like it's floating, but it does have the defroster vents and all that kind of stuff. And as you can see, the entirety of this dash is actually in very good shape. It has held up very well over time. Hasn't split or cracked or anything like that, but I'm not surprised. It is a Volvo. Do have the passenger side airbag, of course. It is a seamless design. And of course, you do have the side impact airbags and curtain airbags for the SIPs. We do also have a locking glove box. Taking a look here, we do have 2 positional air vents at the top here with the 4-way flashers here. This is where your ignition key goes. CD slot, of course. And this is where all of the data for the controls go in the center stack. It is an AM/FM CD player. It does not I don't think it has the premium audio system. It doesn't have the Dyne audio system in it, but it is still a pretty nice 6-speaker audio. And it does have AM, FM, and of course like that. And then you got Sirius XM satellite radio, auxiliary input, and then you also got USB. So that's a pretty nice little thing there. And then, interesting, the different quadrants show different animations. So this one, of course, highlights this upper roundel, and it's your volume control there. And then over here, we'll highlight that roundel, and it will show all the tuning. And it has kind of like an old school tuner dial, which is pretty cool. And of course, you can also adjust your bass, treble, and then of course fader and balance. And then down here, and we'll go over all the keys too. Down here is our climate control. So this is our fan control here, and you'll see it highlights the lower roundel, and it's your fan speed. And then over here is our temperature controller. So right now we have it in dual mode. But you can also press and highlight if you want left or right or both. So you can adjust the driver's side, you can adjust the passenger side, or you can adjust them both at the same time. We're going to bring it back down to 60. Anyway, alright, so radio controls, phone controls if you have the phone here, AM, FM, eject mode for the Sirius XM and all that kind of stuff. Phone, you also have a menu, and then you use this key here, go through all that kind of stuff there, climate setting, car settings, all that kind of stuff. You have enter and exit, and then you have your climate controls down here, recirculate, manual and automatic, rear defroster, front defroster, panel distribution, AC, and your heated seats are down here. And they're all housed in this really nice thin floating style bezel. Goes right into the shift lever, a standard parking brake. You got this aluminum trim here, 12-volt power point, roll top, features cup holders, small little storage here. You do have a padded armrest here that opens up to reveal storage in the upper portion, and it can also be opened flat to reveal some storage for the rear seat passengers. Or you can open up completely, and what you have inside is a auxiliary input and what looks to be like a USB, but it's not exactly. What it actually is it converts it into, you can actually plug this into an iPod 30 pin connector, but that is a USB port there. Just a nice amount of deep storage in here. Alright, so that's the overall interior of the Volvo C30. As you can see, even by today's standards, it does hold up pretty well over time. We do have a manually dimming rearview mirror. Ahead or above us, we have overhead illumination. We've also got map lights for the front seat passengers. Passenger airbag indicator, and your fasten belts light is up here. Power sunroof control is in this little hoop here. We've also got padded sun visors that do open up to reveal illuminated vanity mirrors, and they're kind of a nice wide mirror. And of course the sun visors do swing out, but they do not slide out, so they do have a lot of open space. We've got overhead assist handles, and they are dampened. And then automatic height adjusting seat belts. All right, let's take a look at the rear seats. The rear seats are really cool in this car because they are split bucket seats. Getting to the rear is relatively easy. If you have manual seats, it's even easier, but the power seats do make it easy as well. First of all, we're going to fold the seat forward, just like that. Then we're going to press this button here, and it's going to move the entire seat assembly forward. And so that does create a nice entry to the rear seat. All right, now that we got the seats out of the way, let's take a look at the rear seats. As stated before, the rear seats do seat 2 across. They are individual bucket seats, height adjustable head restraints, and they do feature the same off-black and calcite leather upholstery. They do also have the accent stitching, perforated inserts, all that kind of stuff. Other than that, there's not really a whole much to show back here. You do have some grab handles back here, speakers. You have rear illumination back here in the headliner. Other than that, not really a whole lot to show. There's no armrest, there's no cup holders or anything like that. We do have seat back mat pockets, however, in the backs of both seats. And we have a 12-volt power point down there in the floor, but there's no rear vents or anything like that. But Surprisingly, even though the seats look very compact, they're actually quite roomy back here. And of course, they do also fold. We'll show that real quick. It's very easy to fold these seats down. To do so, you're going to locate right where the seatbelt is. There's actually a release lever, and that will actually unlatch the seat. And as you can see, it does fold flat with the rear luggage area, and the other seat, the right-hand seat, does the exact same thing. And you can also lift the seat, and it's nice to have that seatbelt guide so the seatbelt doesn't get stuck between the hinges or anything like that. And it locks in place. All right, let's take a look at the luggage area now. Now, there are two ways to get into the luggage area. The first way is to just press the button on the key fob here. You can double press that and it'll unlatch the hatchback, or you can go straight up to the car itself. Right underneath the L, and this little piece right here, underneath there's a membrane switch. You can just grab that and press it, and it opens up to reveal the opening glass hatch. One of my favorite design elements of this car. I just think it's really, really cool that they just kind of put that in the car instead of making it a boring metal liftgate. And it just gives the car some character. And it also makes this car quite roomy and very just overall it has a lot of nice cargo capacity that would be surprising in a car of this class size. Anyway, what you see here is a nice load flat floor back here, decent amount of storage. You do have illumination back here. You have an odds and ends cover or strap here. You have some tie down hooks as well. But overall, just pretty decent back here. Now from back here, you can actually easily release the seat backs just by flipping that switch forward there and pushing the entire seat assembly forward. Just like that. You can do that over here on this side as well. And that does greatly expand your cargo capacity. Really nice feature to have in a car of this size. And underneath the floor mat, or the well, you do have a spare tire. You've also got jack and tools and all that kind of stuff. Now, I find the easiest way from back here to lift the seats up, you could just grab the seat belts and just pull the entire assembly forward and make sure it locks in place. Just like that. To close the lift gate, just grab here and you can just close it just like that. And there you have it, the 2011 Volvo C30. We hope you found the review informative, and if you did, please comment down below. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/neighborhoodcarreviews and our Instagram channel at BrensoJ1. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.